Hello friends, welcome back to Technique, and today we'll be doing yet another camera review, and this time around we have the newly launched Vivo T2 Pro. So Vivo T2 Pro is the latest device around the 25,000 price segment, and this device comes with a pretty good camera setup, and there are some shortcomings as well. So let's do the detailed camera review of this device and see how this stacks up in this price segment, and also how good it is as a camera smartphone. So Vivo's T series has been pretty popular actually. They have come with pretty good camera setups in the budget segment as well. So this is a slightly more premium device, and this has a dual camera setup and also a pretty good selfie camera as well. So before going into the detailed camera review, if this is your first time on this channel, do hit that subscribe button and also hit the bell icon to get notified of all the videos we publish. So let's begin. Let's first have a look at the camera hardware. Now as you can see, this comes with a dual camera setup. It's a 64 megapixel primary sensor, f1.79 aperture, and you get optical image stabilization. Then you get a secondary 2 megapixel bokeh sensor, or rather depth sensor for portraits, and you also get this aura light for portraits. We'll talk about that in a while. Then on the front panel you get a 16 megapixel camera. This is again a pretty good camera setup. So that's the camera, f2.45 16 megapixel selfie camera. So that's the camera hardware of the Vivo T2 Pro. So it does miss out on the ultra wide angle camera, and it also does not come with a macro camera. But not having a 2 megapixel macro sensor is not a major problem, because most of the 2 megapixel shooters are kind of very useless. So that's not a major concern. But not having an ultra wide, maybe some people might find it a deal breaker, but if you're not really shooting with ultra wide, that doesn't make much of a difference. So let's go straight into the camera samples and see how it performs. So first let's have a look at the daylight captures. Under bright outdoor conditions, you can see that the Vivo T2 Pro produces amazing details. The colors are pretty good, and the overall quality of the images also looks very good. The sharpness levels are also very impressive, and this is evident when you pixel peep. You can see that the sharpness levels are maintained pretty well. The overall quality of the image also looks great, and the dynamic range is nice and wide, and does produces really good balanced images. Although colors are slightly vivid, but not a major concern, and it doesn't feel any kind of saturated images. They're kind of pretty much natural looking, and overall clarity of the image definitely looks good. The sharpness level is something which is really impressive. Even when you zoom into the images, you can see here there is adequate amount of sharpness levels offered, and the clarity of the images is simply superb for this price segment. So daylight captures, it does produces really bright and great looking images. Now looking at the close-up shots, here also you can see here there is a good amount of sharpness and detailing being offered in the close-up images, and also the colors are done pretty good, although it's slightly richer tone, but again we feel this is definitely good. Now one of the important things about this camera is the portrait. So it does have a depth sensor, so the portrait taken using the 64 megapixels camera is pretty good. You can see that the dynamic range is good, the skin tones are also good, although it's slightly slightly whitish in tones, but not a major concern. Most of the people will like the portraits, and the sharpness levels are really good, and the aura portraits taken using the aura lighting is also really good. You can see these are shots taken in indoor light and with artificial light during low light conditions, and you can see they come pretty good. So portraits are a strength of the Vivo T2 Pro, and we really like the portraits taken on this device. Next is the low light condition. In indoor artificial light, you can see here there is good amount of detail. The sharpness levels are once again really impressive, even under a bright indoor light. Even low light conditions, the sharpness levels are maintained pretty good, and they produce pretty good images. They are balanced in colors. Even when you switch on the night mode, there is a good amount of details being offered. That's something which is really good. The night mode does bring in good details. The dynamic range is also once again good, and the colors are also maintained pretty well. So overall we feel in this price segment the Vivo T2 Pro does a pretty good job overall in terms of night photography as well, and with OIS that helps in better low light photography as well. Next, let's move on to the selfie camera. The 16 megapixel selfie camera is one of the really good aspects about this camera. It has a really great selfie experience, and you can see the skin tones are really good, the color tones are good, and the overall color quality and the dynamic range is simply superb on this camera. So we definitely like the selfies on this camera, and even the portrait selfies, the background blur definitely looks really nice, and the edge detection is also pretty good, and overall quality of the selfies looks really impressive. Even the low light selfies also turned out to be pretty good. Let's move on to the video recording. The video can be taken with a 4K 30 fps, and you can see here the 4K 30 fps video looks good. There is stabilization being offered, the colors are good, there is good bright video recording. The stabilization is also done pretty well, the dynamic range is good, the video is pretty sharp, and overall quality of the 4K sample is pretty good. Now the 1080p at 60 fps does not support stabilization, and hence it is not recommended for moving footages, but you can see that the detailing and the sharpness levels and color quality is definitely good even with the 1080p 60 fps video. Now finally 1080p at 30 fps you get stabilization. You can see once again it's a stable footage, colors are almost as good as the 4K sample, the dynamic range is nice and wide, the detailing is good, and color reproduction also works pretty well. So overall video quality is definitely good on this device, and we didn't feel any sort of issues on the Vivo T2 Pro in terms of video quality, at least in this price segment. The phone also comes with slow motion recording, and you can see here the quality is quite acceptable for a phone in this price segment, and if you are a person who takes a lot of slow motion, this is quite a decent capture overall. So this is the front facing camera sample taken with the Vivo T2 Pro, and this can again record videos in 1080p resolution, so you can judge yourself how good the clarity of videos and also the audio output. So that was the camera review of the Vivo T2 Pro. So summing up, how good is the camera on the Vivo T2 Pro? We are really impressed with the camera performance of the Vivo T2 Pro. Couple of areas we like. Daylight captures are pretty good, the colors are good, the sharpness levels is impressive, the dynamic range is nice and wide. So overall Vivo T2 Pro does a pretty good job. Although the images are slightly inclined towards say probably richer tones, but not a major concern. The portraits are very good, especially with the aura light. If you're taking low light portraits, the aura light on this camera does work pretty well, and you can toggle it from the settings, so that is also pretty impressive. The low light experience with optical image stabilization is again done well, and the video recording and also the selfie experience, that's something which is we really liked about this camera. So as a whole, whatever being offered on this camera does pretty good job, but there are shortcomings because there is no ultra wide angle camera offered. That's one of the downsides. Otherwise this is a solid package in terms of camera experience. So that was our experience with the Vivo T2 Pro in terms of camera performance. So what do you guys think about the camera on the Vivo T2 Pro? Do let us know your thoughts in the comment section. This is Normal signing off with a camera review of the Vivo T2 Pro. Hope you enjoyed watching this video. Do hit that like button and also hit the red subscribe button for more videos. Thanks for watching. Hope to see you in our next video. Have a great day.